Welcome to the final whistle, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's that time. The great show. Myself, Matt Caddell, final whistle Dan, our leading recruiting analyst, just color analyst, and the one and only Justin Riley with the Bama Standard. How are y'all today? How's everything going? I don't know where Chris is, but I'm quite sure
He just jumped on.
Roll Tide, always good.
What up, Chris?
He's rubbing his eyes.
Man,
You're on mute.
You're
yeah.
muted.
Every time he struggles that, Chris,
my
you
bad.
don't look like you stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Man, these allergies are whooping my tail, man.
Man, you can't be using all these essential oils with all these perfumes for your
You know, I got to do it for my show, man. You know, my OnlyFans, man. You know, I got to do it.
doing
For
that for your OnlyFans, man.
Yeah, you can't mix those atmospheres together, man.
But let Elroy stand in for you.
Yeah, man, y'all don't want to see Elroy.
Well,
Elroy's still pouting by that Tennessee loss.
mm.
He has a few choice words, so I'm not going to let him get on tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, that's probably a good thing. But as always, folks, we are brought to you by Workspace Solutions and Oatmont Financial Partners. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're in the live chat, man, make yourself known, show up, show out, create controversy. That's what we're about here. And also, if you're watching the replay, get in the comment section and let us know your thoughts. And, hey,
Hit that donate
hit the like button again. I can't say that enough. Hit that like button.
Ain't it a donate button? Isn't it a donate button?
There's a donate button.
Chris,
Uh-oh. Chris is starting to GoFundMe.
Yeah,
they
man.
they shut down his OnlyFans and then his TikTok with the link to his OnlyFans. They realized that
They said I was taking too hard. They said I was.
what? No, I'm just playing.
it all of a sudden turned into that kind of show, guys. But listen, we got a lot to talk about. We kind of had the wind taken out of our sails today because we wanted to lead off with Bama basketball. But we all know those of you who are Bama fans are not living under a rock or who weren't on Twitter. We know what's going on. We're not going to address that. We're going to try to stay neutral here and focus on the main thing that is Tide Hoops, where we are right now as a program. What we're looking at as the end of the regular season draws ever so near. We have just a few games left, and every one of them is very pivotal. I can't talk, but yes, very pivotal. Matt, first take here. Great comeback win this past Saturday. It seems like whenever Alabama suffers a loss, whoever's coming next is going to have to pay the ultimate price. You know, I love it when we do that. But the thing is, we can't afford loss from this point forward, not only the regular season, if we hope to win the SEC outright regular season title, that is, and then going on into tournament play, a loss is just not accepted because a loss will promote you to fans in the stand instead of being a participant. But guys, let's get your thoughts on the game against the Bulldogs, who were taught to behave.
It felt good. You know, I'm gonna start with the Tennessee game. You know, it was a crazy game. We lost 19 turnovers, man. We can't have 19 turnovers and expect to win on the road. I think that was a good learning lesson for us. I think we kind of matured from that, having to play with such a physical team. And I don't think we responded the best. Obviously, we didn't have 19 turnovers, but we responded versus Georgia, and you know, another blowout win. The stars were there. Coach Saban was there. Miss Terry, Herb Jones. There's just a great atmosphere. So I think these guys are gonna, you know, use it as motivation. But you know, we know the big elephants in the room. I think they're gonna have to, you know, just from today alone. I think they're gonna have to garner, support each other emotionally, psychologically, and make sure they're locked in mentally, because it's gonna get a little bit tougher on the roads with the media questions, all that stuff. So I think all this stuff will kind of die out by tomorrow, and you know, I just hope it's not one of those situations that we're talking about this negative thing without just talking about all the positive impact that the player has done. So that's my 2 cents. I'll let Dan go. Dan, the man.
Yeah, man. I don't want to talk too much about the Tennessee loss, man. That one, yeah, like I say, the 19 turnovers, man, inexcusable. But going into the Georgia game and man, 49-point victory, 109 points scored, and man, the game Nick Pringle played, man. If we can continue to get that much out of him, I don't see anybody in the country beating us. I think it was 19-14. I mean, and the energy that he brought, and that's what I like to see out of a big man, especially a bench player. Bring energy, man. Nothing else. Show some fight. We could have used that against Tennessee.
Yeah.
We want a guy with passion to play with passion and fire, and he's that guy, kind of like what Jakeem Noah was for Florida back in the day. A guy that just brings fire, plays with passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very excited to see that, and hopefully he continue that going forward.
Chris, you're on mute.
Yeah, man. That Tennessee loss, those 19 turnovers, they were atrocious, man. It's like unacceptable. Like, we gotta value the ball better, and like whenever we value the ball and have less than 10 turnovers, we tend to usually be on the good side of things with a win, and nobody in the country really could play with us. So I like the way we bounced back against Georgia. We could have came out flat. It wasn't against one of the top SEC teams that are competing for the league championship. So it was good to see that type of fight, of a game that most people will sleepwalk through. With building off Nick Pringle, he's an energy guy, man. He reminds me of that kid that guy that Mississippi State had some years back. Was it Bernardo or that guy used to block all the shots? He was a monster, man.
Yeah.
He brings that type of energy, man. If we get that will give us along with Clowney and Bediako, with Gurley doing what he does, as a kind of steady presence. You have 4 bigs, man. I don't think too many teams out there that have 4 bigs that really can, be effective on the court, man. But it's gonna just basically boil down to guard play, man. Protecting the ball, making open shots, making the right pass, and like it seems like we go as kind of like how Quinterly and Sears go. Now, when our point guards are playing well, man, it's a thing of beauty. But when they're bad, they're bad. So we got to cut out the inconsistency because we don't have any room for error, especially with the way A&M is playing right now. We can't drop anything. We really need for Tennessee to kind of take care of business tonight to give us a little cushion. Heading to the game tomorrow night in South Carolina, because with the way things standing right now, it looks like we're gonna have to win out in order to win the league title. So, but I mean, that's what you get. It's almost March, and that's just what comes with the territory. Whenever you're trying to win the championship, every game matters. And, but right now Tennessee's down by 3 with like 3 minutes to go, so we'll see how that turns out.
2 things that I'm looking at. One, that loss against Tennessee, the biggest thing y'all just mentioned, turnovers. That's been our Achilles heel. When we're able to eliminate them, then we're the best team in the country. There's no question. I don't think anybody matches up well. It's when we start to beat ourselves that it become a problem, and it takes us out of the equation. This is a time where we need to put that behind us, because every game is so critical right now. And if we start going back to poor, undisciplined type of play where we beat ourselves, we're going to be sitting at home a lot sooner than we expect. But seeing Nick Pringle go off, my gosh, what he did Saturday, I started thinking, man, these guys have families and you're doing that. But that's also a thing of beauty. What I like about it is at this point in the year, you're starting to look, okay, who were going to be those other guys who step up in these moments? Is Clowney, Pringle, Burnett, who are going to be those extra players that are able to take the ball and take over, because we need players other than the usual suspects, especially when it comes to tournament time. We need those guys that end up being tournament heroes. Who is that going to be? Is it a Pringle? Is it Griffin? Who's it going to be?
I'm really liking Griffin.
I like Griffin too.
So we're seeing some good things here. Bediako, I felt like it had a tremendous year as a whole. Just need to get a little bit more healthy there. But if he's able to have a big tournament, I kind of feel like we're going to see something similar. And for those modern day fans, you probably might not know who I'm talking about. I'm looking like at a Chuck Davis type performance from him come tournament time, where 2003 or 4.
2004.
Yeah, 2004, where Chuck Davis just went off and was an absolute menace down low. That could be Bediako. I think Bediako was a lot more talented. No disrespect to Chuck, but this guy shut down some of the best bigs in the SEC. But yeah, coming up, man, it doesn't get any easier. Tomorrow night, yeah, you look at South Carolina's standing right now. Not too good. You probably think it's going to be a blowout. Kind of a weird feeling going into Columbia. So it could be kind of a trap situation, especially with the distractions that are going on. And after a big win like that, you're tempted to play a little flat. Hopefully that's not the case. Saturday, of course, Arkansas, but I'm really looking at that Texas A&M matchup. It's going to come down to us and them. And they're really good down low. And if they force us to play mid-range, that can be an issue, guys. We don't seem to do as well in that part of the game. But, hey, it may change between now and then. But, yeah, if they take us out of our element, it could be a tough matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I got a question for you guys. Who does this Alabama team kind of remind you all from, college teams in the past? For some odd reason, I keep getting Florida when they had Brewer and all those guys.
Horford, and
Horford, Joakim Noah.
Man,
I get that kind of emotion, but I want to get interested to see who y'all think they kind of remind you of, or what type of teams in the past or whatnot that kind of remind you of, Chris.
This team, I was talking to Dan the other day. This team kind of reminds me of the North Carolina team when we had they had that good guard play when they had Felton and Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
Really good guard play. And, and they clearly were like, you just knew something was special about that team. Who else was on that team? McCants.
Yeah.
McCants, May.
And John May. Those guys right there. It reminds me of one of those North Carolina teams that was just, they had the pieces, man. They had the pieces all over. They had the guard play. They had the wing play. They had the down low play when they put it together. Because, man, when we put it together, man, there's not too many college teams that I've seen. Because you got to understand, man, we're dropping 100 points in conference play, not just one time.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And when Bama's on, man, man, may God help you.
Yeah. That's our 40-point win, if I'm correct, right?
Right. I mean, what they did to LSU, what they did to Georgia, what they did to who else we did that to? It was just crazy, man.
Vandy. We didn't beat Kentucky by 40, did we? No, we did. Yeah, it was the largest victory. Yeah,
we blew them out.
Yeah, it was about 20 something, I think, Kentucky. But did Vandy come to us? We beat Vandy that bad? Oh my God!
Vandy bad.
At home,
since that loss, they've been rolling, right? They've been rolling ever since that loss.
Yeah, they've won 6 straight.
5 in a row, 6 in a row.
6 in a row.
Don't sleep on Kentucky. I think they're gonna be a sleeper team.
Oh yeah, Kentucky's making them turn. Yeah.
Think about Kentucky, man. Kentucky's gonna go as far as topping, takes them because man, that kid that transferred from what's his name, Reeves. Oh my God, man, he's a scoring machine. Antonio Reeves.
Yeah,
I saw him last year. I think he was at Illinois State or whatnot. And he was one of the guys that was in the transfer portal this past offseason that I was hoping that Bama had a shot at. When we were looking for what we end up, I think, adding Mark Sears, and which was huge. And man, Welch, I watched Welch in that NIT when St. Bonaventure made that run to the NIT Final Four.
Yeah, well, that's another one. If we can get going,
He showed some life Saturday. Welch showed some life Saturday, man. Welch get those legs right now, and it seems like your boy. Burnett, man, he's an unsung hero.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. When Quinley's not turned, I'm gonna put it on. It's Quinley. When he's not turning the ball over, I'm gonna drop some things. When he's not turning that rock over, man. Like, and I think Coach Oates has to do a little better job of pulling him earlier because he leaves him in there, and he allows him to make 3-4 turnovers before he. Like,
I agree with Thomas Porter there. Yeah, inbound has been the issue as well.
I mean, why you have man? I would have a 6-foot guard inbounding the ball. Somebody that can see over everything. Like, even if it's Brandon Miller inbound or Clowney, somebody. But I wouldn't have a 6-foot guard that's having trouble. Man. Just get somebody tall up there that can just throw it in.
What other areas do you think this basketball team needs to improve in?
We need to improve on protecting the paint, man, because too many bigs are getting what they want on us. When we play teams like Mississippi State, they give
physicality,
man. Those boys, man, they need to get a Elroy workout in.
Yeah, I agree, because there are times where we can be just flat out dominating and suffocating on the defensive end, especially down low, and then there are other times you're like, how soft can they be?
Yeah.
But if I had to compare it to a team, to answer your question, Matt, like you had suggested, the Florida teams with Joakim Noah and that crew, I feel like we have the same potential, because of course, we know the NCAA tournament as well as SEC tournament. It's about catching fire. It's about momentum. If we can catch that momentum, we have those guys to be able to replicate what that Florida bunch did, who won back-to-back national championships. So, of course, I feel like we're our own worst enemy. So if we do it our own way, I feel like we have that kind of ceiling.
But the thing about it, man, even if you look, I studied that dominant team that Anthony Davis was on, right? The Kentucky team. I studied that team. Their lead scorer averaged 14 a game. They didn't have a Brandon Miller. They had Anthony Davis, but he averaged 14. He wasn't as polished as he is now.
Yeah.
No. It was by committee kind of thing.
Yeah. They had Shai Gilchrist Alexander that came off the bench. They had Miller. What's your guy's name? Terrence Jones. Those guys, man. And I was looking at Wiltshire that came off the bench, the 16 guy that shot the light. And I was looking, man, and those teams, man, they really weren't that deep. Like, even like you haven't, still haven't seen a college basketball team to this day that runs as deep as Alabama runs with 10, 11 legit guys. They're not just bodies you throwing out there, but legit guys that can get you 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Any one of them. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen that from a college team, really. Do you remember, Dan, the Arkansas teams, all them? They may have 8, 9 deep at most. I haven't seen
8 or 9 deep. Yeah.
I've never seen a team with 10, 11 guys that can really all get hot and get 15 to 20.
I got a question for you.
What?
Which team scares you the most, since we're talking about March Madness? I'm gonna be honest. I think Houston. I hope we don't have to face Houston nowhere near in March Madness. But that team,
just from the revenge factor.
Houston kind of scares me a lot. So I was gonna ask you guys. Who scares you all? Justin, I'll start with you.
I gotta go with Houston right now. Yeah, same thing. Not to copycat or get the easy answer, but they're hot. They're a totally different team from the earlier part of the season. They've grown, they've matured, they learned from their mistakes, and they're definitely a team we want to wait till much later in the tournament to face.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
Yeah. Unanimous. I would have to say Houston as well, man. I was trying to thinking, you're right. I try to bring up another name, but man, it's Houston.
Hey, Thomas Porter, sorry to interrupt. I do want another shot at UConn.
Yeah,
I want a little get back with them.
I agree, Thomas.
But you know what, though, man? I'm going different. Like the Houston team, we found the recipe. We took out Billy Yako and went small, and we gave them all kinds of problems. And, we kind of ran away with it at the end. And I saw them like Memphis went in there Sunday, almost, gave them a single-digit game. Memphis didn't have their best player, Davis, that averaged 20-some points a game. And then I think he averaged 23 a game. And then the best player, the second best player, fouled out, and they stood toe to toe with me. And then Temple went in there and won. And so they kind of had Houston kind of didn't, they're good, but they're vulnerable. But the team I'm gonna go with is Arizona because they have 7-foot guys
good
that are really physical down low, and that's the type of matchup we don't need. Like those two guys.
We got Pringle.
But Arizona has two guys that
just overpaying the Pringle.
Like a game like that, man, we have to run. We have to run and force them to take one of those bigs out and kind of run, use our guards against a team like Arizona, but somebody like Arizona. But I looked at Kansas, they're 6'8", 6'8" across the board. They're not big.
Yeah.
What about that 7? What don't Purdue got like a 7'4" guy on there?
Somebody like, but thing about Purdue, man, we'll eat their guards alive. Their guards are vulnerable. They have young guards, freshmen, and we'll force them to take Edie out because we'll run them out the gym. I think we'll run Purdue out the gym. Purdue, we're a bad matchup for Purdue. But like I said, a team like one of those Big 12 teams, man. Like I hate like TCU. Those guys are physical. Kansas State, TCU, teams like that. I'm trying to stay away from that Big 12. Kansas, like I said, Kansas doesn't scare me because Kansas, they're not extremely deep and they're not long at all. But the guys that they have, Wilson, those guys, man, they Grady Dick, those guys, they get after it, man. You know what I'm saying? But like Kansas, like they had a stretch where they lost 3 in a row. It's all about matchups, man. And that's what March is about. Guard play matchups.
Yeah.
Taking care of the ball.
I like this comment by Thomas Porter. Why can't we recruit a big center that won't get pushed around in the paint? He doesn't have to be talented.
Go to the G League out of high school or the overtime elite.
But look,
they don't
he
go to
have to be talented. We can get a what did Duke have a few years ago? Zubek.
Oh man,
somebody like that was just size that could just make a difference. Come in and play the last 2 minutes of a half. Somebody like that. I'm all for it.
If you
go get Caden Proctor, go get Jaheim Oda.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, if you could get a guy who played similar to Hendricks or Erwin Dudley for the younger fans in the audience there, he played when we were there, but be a little bit taller, then we'll be in business right there because those guys were monsters in the paint, dominated their lane, and didn't take nothing from nobody, didn't back down whatsoever.
But let me tell you, now Bediako doesn't really get pushed around in the paint like that now.
Not this year. He's not.
Whenever he stays out of foul trouble, it's not Bediako.
Yeah, got to stay on the floor.
It's you know what it is? It's when Bediako gets out, then they have a 6'8" undersized girly in there trying to play center, and now they see that it has to be Pringle. It has to be Pringle because Clowney isn't Girth, isn't.
Don't have enough muscle.
Yeah. To play. They tried Clowney there. They tried Gurley, but now I think they're finding out that it had to be Pringle. He was the number 1 JUCO player in the country for a reason.
Yeah.
And I think we found our answer. And if we need to,
yes, man.
I'm on a roll. So, we're A club, we're former players, but I don't think the fans we've discussed this.
I'm not A club.
No, but I'm just saying fans, basketball fans in general. I don't think nobody's discussed this. Like, I've been talking to a lot of Bama fans, and I know everybody's excited. Nate Oats signed a big contract, and they're like, build the arena. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I'm like, I like Coleman. I'm really like, I think they could. I just want to get y'all thoughts on the arena. I think we do need a state-of-the-art arena. I don't want it to be like Auburn where it's really small and it kind of not that great. I think, Greg Burns is going to make the best option, but I still like Coleman. I think you could expand the student section. I think you could expand the student section how it used to be, like on the floor around right behind the basket. You
help out a lot,
you can't beat that location Coleman has. Like, and it's got a lot going on in there. I just want to get y'all thoughts on the arena, Coleman. What are kind of y'all thoughts?
Man, Coleman look like we're in a library.
That's awesome right there.
Build a man an arena but add more seats, man. Still making it an arena. You don't want to shrink it to 9,000.
Do not shrink.
Don't be like Auburn. Yeah, don't shrink it.
Keep that thing at, like now I think Coleman holds 15,000, 14, 15,000.
Yeah, 15.
Oh man, keep that thing around 12 or 13, but just make it state of the art. You can sacrifice a few thousand seats to make it state of the art. But at least
I say state of the art. More seats. Expand the student section.
Yeah,
the student section is what drives that arena, man. We got
great
student section.
3,000 seat student section and like a 10,000 seat for everybody else.
Yeah, if you make it smaller, probably add some luxury suites, you know what I'm saying, or something. But I wouldn't agree with making it small, putting fewer seats. Bring the fans definitely closer, especially to the opposing team's bench.
Yes.
Just put the student section right behind the opposing team bench.
Yeah, put the student section right back. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Have it wrapped around from like up underneath the goal.
Yeah,
around to the middle of the scores table.
Nice.
And wrap it all the way around to the baseline, across the baseline, and then have another. I have like two separate. I have students up underneath each goal.
Yeah,
nice.
And can we have a statue of Robert Horry in the front, please?
Right.
That's what I want.
I don't know. After the comments by Charles Barkley, let's build a statue of Charles.
I'm loving it. I love the highlight video.
That really get under Auburn's skin.
Have y'all seen the highlight video they got? What is like? They got that clip of Charles Barkley. He's like, Frank Brinkley, Alabama's the best team in the country, and everybody go crazy. I'm like,
whoa.
Hey, Charles keeps it real though. Charles keeps it real. But man, put a statue of
Antonio McDyess
of Hollywood James Robinson, baby.
There you go.
It's a lot of man. We say Derek McKee,
Herb Jones. You can do
now Herb. That would be perfect. I think that would be the most accepted.
Yeah,
Herb, but no man, go ahead and give Wimp a statue.
Yeah, give Wimp a jacket.
My guy, Dante Hall.
You gonna go out there, man. Yeah, every Justin Jr. out there with a finger roll.
Flip shot.
I'm gonna put a vote in for my guy Rod Grizzard.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Hey, Rod was cold, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, but we come a long ways, man, from them days, though, man.
Yeah.
Y'all are funny, man.
We come a long way from the finger roll days.
Yeah. That little flip shot. Oh man. Yeah.
The scoop shot.
Come on, 50 points again. 8 points.
Real quick before we switch gears, who you say is the most underrated Bama player basketball that maybe doesn't get enough props?
Oh, easy. Lamar Burnett.
No, I'm talking about all time.
Well, all time.
Since we went through memory lane there real quick.
For me, Ronald Steele.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's one, but shoot, Tony Mitchell.
Oh,
Tony Mitchell. Now you stole mine, Chris. I'm the one I would say about Tony Mitchell. You stole mine.
Mitchell sick.
How you tell Chris?
Tony Mitchell was sick, man.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
A walking double. I mean,
man, Tony if Tony Mitchell would have been playing in this team right here, man. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back, man. He was a transfer. It was way back in the day, man. Y'all guys might not know, but man, I want y'all to look up a guy named Jamal Faulkner, man. He was one of my favorite shooters from back in the day.
Wow.
Do you remember him, Matt? The guy Jamal Faulkner, man. He could stroke it, man.
I'm gonna go look him up though. I'm gonna look him up.
Yeah, look him up. I'll tell everybody watching the show, y'all look up Jamal Faulkner, man. That was a shooter.
What about you, Justin? Who's underrated for you?
Thomas Porter, I think I might be saying it. Riley Norris, that's what he's voting for.
Riley
Norris was a dog.
I would love to see him play for Oats. Yeah, he was pretty good. Yeah, he was a great rebounder, stretch 4. He could play 3 or 4. Yeah, I would love to see Riley Norris, see what he could do. Yeah. Now, I thought, we wasted him those years under Avery. Yeah, we didn't capitalize on his skill set. Yeah.
I'm gonna go old school on you guys. Brian Williams. He could hit a three anywhere on the court, anytime we need it. He definitely was a star in the 90s. So that is he's one of my votes for sure.
East Shell in this offense, he would have he'll be shooting threes left and right.
Man, mine is Red Obasanjo.
Oh,
who was doing very well overseas right now.
Yeah,
and
he would be turning the ball over.
Huh? You said what?
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't be turning the ball over. Yeah.
Oh no, Obasanjo was solid.
Looked like a running back back there.
Yeah,
but we had some good guards with Rutherford and Obasanjo, man. That was
we did. Tasty. Somebody baking cookies?
Time up.
Great discussion, guys. We'll definitely be talking about it a lot more as the weeks progress. I mean, hey, tournament time is almost here. Time to switch it to football, and all of a sudden the chat comes alive, right? Well, one of the things that I wanted y'all to talk about, because I don't think it's talked about enough. Well, it's talked about, and that's the fourth quarter program. We hear about it, and we truly understand what that means, what that entails. And I feel like at this point, Coach Saban is pushing a reset. It was once said, out with the old, in with the new, but it's kind of reversed, right? We're bringing the old back, and it's going to be new to these guys. So are they really ready? Is this generation, is the modern player ready for what it's going to take to play Kevin Steele kind of ball, Joe Pendry kind of ball? Yes, Joe Pendry's an analyst there, but do they really know what they're about to get into? I know that the version you guys experienced, and I think based on conversations with former players, it may be watered down. But if it's brought to its full capacity again, are these guys able to endure what's going to be put in front of them?
Matt, find out.
Matt, we're going to say Justin, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, does this kind of resemble kind of a restarting of things, maybe kind of somewhat similar to what you experienced, because you experienced the changing of the guard from Shula to Saban. You saw the new way of doing things. Do you draw any kind of comparisons to what we're experiencing now with bringing the old guys back to teach the modern player what it really means to play for the program?
I think so, and I think that's what Coach Saban did. I think he self-evaluated and was like, listen, the NIL, all that stuff, transfer portal is cool. I got to get motivators, rah-rah guys, energy guys, coaches that really keep football the main thing and chew players out. I think he got that. I think he kind of learned and kind of looked at what Georgia had. Georgia got NIL and all that stuff, but Georgia's just doing what Coach Saban started. And I think we kind of got away from that some, with the transfer portal, NIL, and we kind of, maybe, and we didn't have the best coaches to stay on the players. But I think Coach Saban got it right, and I think it's going to be a good waking up experience for them. It's no more. It's like that meme that you see on Twitter when the kid, I guess he's getting scared straight, and they bust in the room and get up. But I think that's kind of what the players are experiencing now. This is a whole different regime. Coach Saban's back militant. You see he's being more vocal. He's got coaches that are vocal. Clint Dix had a great tweet today. He said, I had my first meeting today, and I already got an ass chewing for Coach Saban. So that's a good sign. Alabama.
Isn't it kind of a rite of passage, Matt?
No. Yeah, it is a rite of passage. And I love how he says you got 5 million to go. So hearing those things, seeing the energy, seeing the culture, Saban's getting back to kind of how he was when he first got to Bama. He knows what type of coaches, what type of style it's going to take to be back dominant and get back Alabama football.
So talk to us. Give us the insider's perspective of the fourth quarter program. And maybe you can't even put the severity of it into words. It's more of an experience. But guys, talk to our audience members who don't really know what that entails. I mean, yeah, it sounds great. And yeah, we've had a couple of videos thrown out there to get us fired up, but that doesn't really capture the essence of the program.
I'm just gonna tell you in general, and then I'm gonna transition to the fourth quarter. The off season in general, Chris can tell you that is a beast. Like it
Weigh
is,
in, Chris.
It's hard to play two sports, man. I'm just salute to those guys that can play two sports.
Man,
hey, know why some guy ran over the baseball?
I heard Chris was the only player in the ice tub smoking a Black and Mild. Is that true?
With a Heineken in the ice tub. But yeah, that off season's brutal, man. You know, as a player, you like, man, off season I get some time off. You really don't, man. This is the weekends. You waking up early. Under Shula, you know, it was tough too. Like we had mat drills. And,
Saturday morning, dude. Saturday morning in my spring, I'm trying to sleep in, man.
Bruh, it was tough. And then, like, so that off season is grueling. You're doing heavy lifting, heavy conditioning. It's more of a mental grind, psychological grind, but that's what makes champions. You know, that's where you kind of start to, you know, build your team for the future. And then transitioning to Coach Saban. Listen, that first year, he was so hard on us because he had to instill his program. And so he was really like Full Metal Jacket, like that first year. Like it was tough. I mean, he was trying to weed out the you know, change the culture, weed out the guys, make us champions, make us better players. So it was challenging. So I'm quite sure he's gotten back to that. With, you know, having Steele and Reyes and all these guys, coaches that are going to chew players out and keep the main thing the main thing. I'm quite sure they're like, oh man, it's okay. This is what I signed up for. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad to kind of see that. So, Chris.
Yeah, man.
Matt very profound there, Chris.
I think they're up for the challenge, man. Because looking at the guys that we brought in, like they just have a different mentality. Guys like Caleb Downs, you know, no nonsense. Justice Haynes, no nonsense. Campbell, no nonsense. Sean Murphy, no nonsense. You look, Tim Smith, Rousseau. No nonsense. And then look at the big O-line that we signed. No nonsense. He signed a class full of no nonsense guys. He didn't. Mm-hmm. You look on there, you can't pick on the list like that's a clown. You know, usually you can look at recruiting classes and be like, man, that joker there's a clown. He signed a bunch of ball players, good blue chip ball players, man. And I think they're gonna embrace it, man. I think they're going to embrace it, and I think you're going to see a change. It's going to kind of remind you back to 2008, man, when we got back to smacking people. I think that's what you're going to see. No, running downhill, running attack. I think you're going to see physical running. I think you're going to see a lot of physical downhill, play action, defense smothering, running to the ball, laying a lumber on guys. No more doggone kneeing the guy in the hole and diving his ankle with your eyes closed.
No tackles. We hidden.
Those days are gone. Safeties that'll come down and hit you in the mouth. Man, it's been a long time since we had defense that just come up and hit people and push them back. You see them flying back.
It's been like 3 years or so.
Yeah, probably 2017. I think it was 2020 when we won the championship toward the end of the year when Baltimore came to his own. But it's really been since 2017 when Pruitt last year when we beat Georgia. Yeah. That was the last time you really saw just a nasty physical Bama defense.
Yeah.
Going back.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say
something. Damn, my bad.
I'm sorry. I just completely. I'm rude. Dan, we haven't heard from you in a minute, man. What's going on over there?
Man, I'm waiting.
You got put in the storage room there so you can do this podcast.
The two things I want to see with 2 words I talked about last show: physicality and intensity. If we don't have multiple guys hitting the portal after the spring, we may not be doing it right. I'm just saying. You
raise a good point.
I'm ready to see us get back to work, do what we got to do. I mean, let's bring it, man. Physicality, and I was seeing Thomas Porter made a good comment about y'all talk about some of the workouts y'all put in. They say it says talk about the workout you put in. As fans, we don't always appreciate that.
Oh, well, I'm gonna tell you the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced my whole life. Mat drills under Coach Shula was tough too because you had to get up.
Joe Kansas was hard.
Ooh, you had to get up super early and you had to do all these workouts.
Yeah, explain that to the fans. Yeah,
it's all the same.
Hey, you forgot one name.
Intensity.
What'd you say, Justin?
You forgot one name in that. You had Terry Jones Sr.
Oh, TJ. Oh my gosh.
You called it stupid SHI.
Oh yeah.
You were at 5:30 in the morning doing stupid.
Oh man. So guys, don't get it twisted. It was tough on the Shula, but when Saban got there, man, fourth quarter, like he would come in, shut the door, like we'll be dressed up here, and it's like all these running exercises. Like you get no breaks, hardly no water breaks. You can't sit down. You going from drill to drill. They had a drill like the skill players. We had to run these curves in the indoor facility, and you like, oh man, that's not tough. It's like running the 200 back to back. I'm talking about. I feel like I was in the best shape of my life. I feel like I could literally do anything after a fourth quarter workout, but it was so grueling. It just brings, it brings that dog out of you, that beast in you, where you can, you can do anything, So by the time you get to the fourth quarter, you're like, man, we about to pour it on these guys. So, I mean, it's just a lot of grueling, mentally, physically, type of things for for players. So that's the fourth quarter. You don't want to experience it, But Chris, tell them about how hard the mat drills were.
Man, look, man. Dude, this how bad it was. Around 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock
p.m. The day before.
You start thinking about, like, oh my God, man. Like,
you couldn't even enjoy your day.
Hey, man, the day before, man, you couldn't eat. You didn't want to eat.
You couldn't even enjoy your day. You like, didn't want to eat it, man. I got this
this is my routine. I woke up. We had to be at the complex like 6 o'clock. The whistle blowing for the first drill to start. So I'm waking up at 5. I'm eating a banana, drinking Gatorade. We at the complex by 5:45. We started making our way out to the barn, and man, we like in a big huddle, like just trying to convince each other.
I'm getting bad feeling sick about it. Oh my God!
Oh my God! Man. Hey man, the DBs look at the receivers. The receivers look at the DBs. You be like, y'all better not outdo us today. Y'all gonna make us look bad. Hey man, and they'll close down everything, and it'll be so hot. Like they'll have us first off there, and then we had to do yoga poses. Like we worked on our flexibility,
stretching, calisthenics,
and stuff like that, man. But oh man, like all you hear is a whole bunch of yelling and cursing,
chewing you out. You ain't
whistles and chewing. Go! Don't stop! Blah 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 blah. And oh man, that was
any little detail. If you're not on if you cross the line, if you don't jump on,
touch
the correct time, like it is like no room for error, and it's so intense. So, but those mat drills, like we would have to start on Mondays. You couldn't even enjoy your weekend because Sunday afternoon, like you like, dang, you kind of start going in this mental funk, like
6 o'clock in the morning, man. The whistle is blowing. It's like, dude, it's a man out of you. It's like. It's man, like I've done some hard things in my life, man, like sand dunes in high school stuff like. But man, it's like like they mentally try to break you.
Yeah,
they mentally try to break you, man.
Basically, like boot camp, to make it like a military. It's like basic training and all that.
You're breathing so hard, you're sweating like take some water. You had one rest station. You remember that? But the whole time you had to clap it up for your teammates.
Yeah.
That's your rest station now. Clapping up and cheering on. There's no sitting down over there by the water cooler.
No walking. This is brutal, bro.
Oh my God. Hey, and if you started out at the rest station, you don't have no more breaks. So you pray to be in that middle group to
where you can get a good break.
Break in the middle. Because if the rest station was the first or the last, oh my God, man.
Oh, if you mess up, oh my gosh. Your group gotta go back over again. Everybody
so playing in front of 95,000, 100,000 was a piece of cake.
Oh yeah.
It was cake, man. You live for that, man. Like for real. Because it was nothing. Like it's like the first, like when you're fresh for your first snap, man, you're gonna be nervous. You can go out there in front of all those people, you're gonna like, you know what I'm saying? But once you get that first hit in, like, okay, it's football now. It's football, let's go. And you don't think about the crowd. You know, you're playing. That's pretty much how it is.
Did you ever have energy bars in your uniform? Thomas Porter asks.
No, I remember Salim, one year Salim Rashid, he was a Muslim, and they were going through the period where they didn't eat.
Ramadan.
And we had a game. And that dude, man, he barely made it, man. He had to play the first half. You think about it, he didn't eat nothing all day. He hadn't eaten anything. It's like an afternoon, late evening again that got dark around halftime. And he was finally able to eat something like an energy bar or something. They had a whole bunch of energy bars at halftime.
Did Bob Bumhauer bring a plate of wings out there for him?
But he
barbecue. Like,
how did you do it, man? But the thing about Salim, he ate like a bird, like because he was no body fat.
None.
Zero. No body fat at all. Just had a big old head. Big
old head.
Oh my God, him and Marvin. No, this is intimidating.
Y'all did a great job of covering the mental aspect. You actually answered that question for me. That was one of the things I wanted to ask you about. But as we kind of close this subject, I want you to draw comparisons as far as what y'all experienced as far as the buy-in to maybe what these guys are going to experience now. It's a different era, guys. Y'all came out from the mud, right? You played for pride. You understood what it took. There was no quitting that. Of course, that was amplified as Coach Saban came, Matt. Is there going to be a harder buy-in process with the modern players in terms of facing that kind of adversity, but they're more distracted by the shiny object, i.e. NIL, social media fame, the list goes on.
I think it could be some challenges, but I think one thing Coach Saban has learned, he knew he had to get the right type of coaches in the program to kind of stay on the players and bring that intensity, as Dan mentioned, that energy, shoot what's out, stay on these guys hard. And, that's going to be the buy-in. When you know your coaches are on you and they want the best for you, you can't help but want to be with your brothers, fight to the end for your brothers. I think that was some of the things we were lacking, last year, certain parts of the game or the season. I don't think we were getting that from a Pete Golden or O'Brien or those type things. But, you look at what Georgia was able to do in transfer portal NIL, they still have coaches on that staff that stay on the players and keep the main thing. So I think the way Coach Saban has his staff and the players, it might be a little bit more difficult. It might be more temptation for guys to go to the portal or looking at NIL. But at the end of the day, you want to win. You want to be great. You want to get to the next level. And, you're doing yourself a disjustice, if you don't buy into the program. And what better place to be at Alabama where the culture's been set, the standards been set, and we're really trying to bring the best out of you. So I think it will be some challenges, but I think we got a great group of guys, as Chris mentioned earlier, high character guys that are going to buy in, and I've already bought in.
And to piggyback off that, man, I played on a 3-win Bama team, regular season team, and I played on a 10-win Bama regular season team, and the difference was leadership.
Yeah.
Like the 3-win team, it starts, man, dude, they don't understand. It starts from The 3-win team, if it was raining, they wouldn't even go into class. It's like, oh, it's raining. Boo, oh, screw that. I'm gonna sleep till practice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story, right quick. It was 2 DBs. I'm not gonna call their names. They were bickering just all practice. This is on the 3-win year. They were just bickering, going back and forth. So Coach Cheese had enough of it. He sent them in for the day. Sent them in for the day. All right. After practice, that was one of them tough Tuesday full pad practices. So, after we, shower, ate and whatnot, and got back to the dorms, they were over there in the Highlands. Man, those two jokers were sitting up there drinking beer together, side by side, like they planned that to get thrown out of practice. That's what we had in 2000, man. It was crazy. But 2002, man, you had guys like Jared Johnson. You had guys like Kendall Moorhead, Kenny King, Antoine Odom. It was, it was no Brooks Daniels.
Yeah.
It was no nonsense, man. Ahmad Galloway, Santonio, Shad, AC, Tree Luke, guys like that, man. And it was like guys who really took it serious, man. You had Smoke Dixon, you had Smoke, you had Wayne Bacon, Roman. I mean, we had a squad, but it's like you had guys that really brought it every day, not just it was like competition in practice. And that's what they have now. It's like it's competition, because when you don't have competition in practice, you're gonna when you don't feel that person on your back pushing for your playing time, you tend to get lackadaisical. Mm-hmm. Then when you get lackadaisical, you start lacking technique, fundamentals in your technique. You start creating bad practice habits, and when you create bad practice habits, that translates to the game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like Coach preached on it. When you're tired, we did 5 minute periods. We may be in period 24. You're tired, man. Well, he was like, keep practicing, working on your pad level. Stay low. Keep grinding, because now you're in the fourth quarter. Stuff like that, man. And it's like it all starts with practice. Like Matt will tell you, we can tell by the week of practice that we had how we were going to do Saturday. I can tell you by Thursday if we were going to win or if we were going to lose.
And usually Coach Saban will tell you, he'll be like, practice was okay. You start hearing that on this radio station, like, oh crap.
Yeah.
How's Alabama gonna show up? So, like you said, I think. Oh, I'll be quick. Like you said, you got to be. Coach Saban got the coaches. We got the intensity, and let me tell you what. To Chris's point, we got those freshmen coming in making noise. Like, you can't sit on your laurels. Like, you can't be like, oh, I'm this and that. Like Chris said, it's so much competition. There's so many guys.
Jefferson is coming.
Guys are. Caden Proctor is coming. Like
Malik Benson is coming. Caleb Downs is coming.
Caleb Downs is on his way. Like, he's coming.
Dan, I think you said it best. If we don't have players doing what, we have a problem.
Yeah, we don't have them hitting the portal or leaving, running, going AWOL. Yeah, we got a problem.
I think we ironed those guys out in the first. Some of them.
We already lost 14, man. Like 14 of them gone already. Like he all right. No, I'm telling you, Saban just went ahead and cut that head off the snake earlier.
Yeah, he
did. He had to seal it into the postseason, until the offseason. He went ahead and knocked those guys are gone, man. Holding those guys. He went ahead and cut that off. He knew who was going to buy in, because you remember in the bowl practice, he said it's the best bowl practice we done had in a long time around here.
Yep.
So I think he went ahead and cut those guys out.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
All right. Quick of response. Based on y'all's experience, who was somebody that was under the radar before either fourth quarter program or off season, but then after that got it serious elevation? I mean, that we play with or currently now? Well, y'all play with, and
Oh, I'll give you an easy name. Doggone Rashad Johnson. Matt will tell you.
Yeah, okay. Rashad walk on.
Oh, Rashad Johnson, man.
Put his head down, work
that
hard.
Dude, man, that dude gave it 100% every single day, man. Like Rashad started out on special team. He was a running back, walk-on running back.
Yeah, from Sullivan.
Like, who is this fast kid that's whooping everybody butt in these drills?
Yeah.
I mean, he was beating everybody one by one. It was this individual. You had to block them. They were coming at you. You had to. It was like a kickoff drill, kickoff return drill. And he was just whooping everybody, man. And then once they moved him to defense and he got that shot, that dude took it and ran with it better than anybody I ever seen do it from the walk-on stand. Wayne Bacon did a good job too. He was a walk-on.
He did. He's phenomenal.
But Rashad Johnson, what he did, man, to become an All-American, from a walk-on running back to a safety All-American.
I'm gonna give you another name. Guy I experienced from my 2003 class. He ended up signing late, but
Wallace Gilberry.
Yeah,
I can attest to that.
That was a dog. You hear me?
Listen, we were like, I remember we were in the Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. They were like, "Oh, this guy Wallace Gilberry, he's a defensive end from,
Bayman
Net and everything,
undersized,
but he was a stud." And they were like, Bama. Man, he got to Bama and he flourished, bro. He was unreal. I think he had an 9-year career in the NFL.
He did.
Wallace Gilberry, somebody who was underrated, who's just Mr. Consistency, even through some of the years, where we weren't, as dominant as we were now. But man, he was a constant beast. So Rashad Johnson, a great name. Wallace Gilberry is another great name.
What's the guy? What's the DB from a couple of years ago? The walk-on ended up starting. He with the Steelers now.
Levi Wallace.
That got there.
I said, man, watch this guy.
Dan told me he was Levi's gonna be good.
I said, this guy gonna end up starting. I told Chris that. I said, you watch this guy. This guy, he just has it. But yeah, Levi Wallace was one, man. I mean, his work ethic and his humility. I mean, you just didn't see him get beat much. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no super athletic jump off the tape guy, but he was just always making plays, man. And that's what I liked about him. Yeah.
Justin, do you have a name you can think of?
You stole mine, Matt. I'll piggyback just because of my personal experience with him. It was Wallace Gilberry. Matt, I was there when Wallace first arrived. And I remember Wallace, everybody kind of gave him a hard time. They thought he was this goofy kid, wasn't really going to do a whole lot. But one thing I saw from him every single day at 4:45 a.m. with Coach Pollard, for those in the audience, was he was so dialed in and just so willing to get better with every rep, every step he took, with every sprint. He just wanted to do whatever it took to get better. And people will give him a hard time. They make fun of him at times, which I felt like was unwarranted. And Coach would always be hard on him. Coach Pollard would be hard on him. But I think Coach Pollard saw the potential in Wallace. And I went up to him one day before Sunday practice. I said, Wallace, I want to tell you something. One day you're going to be an all-SEC player, and you're going to be in the NFL for a very long time. Forget what you're being told right now and how you're being treated. You're going to be that guy. And he was shocked that I said that. He's like, man, I really appreciate that. And next thing you know, he balls out.
Rudy Griffin.
Yeah. Rudy Griffin for sure.
Transferred from what, Citadel?
Came from the Citadel, transferred over. He actually, I'm sure you guys remember this. He came there for one semester, and he thought he was going to have to leave because he ran out of money. And he actually went home during Christmas break 2003. And if it wasn't for Coach Shula calling at the last minute saying, hey, Rudy, we don't normally do this, but we're giving you a scholarship. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. If it wasn't for him doing that, man, he might not have panned out the way he did. Ended up being a 2-year starter.
Mm-hmm. But Matt, I tell you, man, like the guys that work the hardest are the guys that you see right now that are head coaches in the NFL, D'Amico Ryan, Lance Taylor, Western Michigan, guys like that he'll tell you. Those guys that worked so hard that gave it the extra, those are the guys you see that you're seeing right now that are coordinators. Todd Bates. You wouldn't see nobody outwork Todd Bates.
Freddie Roach.
Those guys work, man. And look where they are now.
All right.
Final Wilson.
That is it. And guys, we've had a great show. It passed very quickly. Before we head out of here, I want to go around the room. I want you to tell people what's up next for you.
OnlyFans.
Your social media. Plug everything right now. We'll start with Dan. He does have a Twitter account.
There it is right there. It's right there. You see it. Final Whistle Dan. You can find me at Final Whistle Dan. You catch me here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And for whatever reason now, Dan, Twitter has actually let me see you now. So I don't know what was going on, but you were kind of like hidden.
Twitter was hating, man.
You're one of those troublemakers.
Elon Musk was hating on Dan.
Be with Dan. Only Dan.
Only Dan.
It's a love connection. Only Dan's.
Chris, what's up with you, man? How can folks find you?
Hey, man, you can find me on Facebook, Chris K. James Sr., man. I've had they need to up the limit to 10,000 friends because I had 5,000 friends in 2007, Matt. Yeah, look, thirst trap. That was crazy. On Twitter, I'm at Coach Chris James. Instagram, CKJ Senior SR32.
What's your
OnlyFans? OnlyFans, Black Magic 29.
Matt's is going deep 11.
On Twitter, M Caddell 11, Matt Caddell at M Caddell 11. We got the show Football University. Chris is gonna be there, unofficial GM. We're gonna get into draft talk. Some of the stuff we still talk about here. So and my OnlyFans, out of the night.
Out of the
night, Johnny.
Hey, Justin to tell y'all he is.
Listed on the
script. Mine's Velvet Thunder 69.
Here's Justin rile you up.
Tom Sports want to know if y'all have any group discounts, any codes.
Yeah, man. You got to go on the back of the Athlon magazine to find Dan's on. You got the back of the Athlon that you find on the shelf. You get a $2.99 discount because it's only $3, so you don't have to pay a penny.
Yeah, enter that promo code, guys.
Oh my God. That was so funny.
But yeah, great show, guys. I want to remind everybody some program notes here, as we always do every week. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, developmental focus points. Bo Scarborough, Blake Sims, Christian Jones, and Trent Richardson will be live. And from what I understand, we may be looking at Clinton Dix as their guest. Got to get clearance from the university because he's staff now. We can, if he's able to come, we're definitely going to have to ask him about that cussing, that chewing we referenced earlier on this channel too, guys. If y'all missed it, those in the chat who appreciate the oldie but goodies as far as players, we have a video with Shad Williams, interview with Shad Williams, one of the greatest running backs to ever play for the University of Alabama, one of the fastest and most dynamic. Definitely deserves more roses than he's getting. He was that dude. If y'all haven't watched that video, check it out.
Marvin Cussing needs his own stand-up.
Marvin Constant was on a roll that night.
He was on a roll, boy.
And for those who were old enough to remember, we do address the situation that Shaw Williams faced with Sacha Baron Cohen, a.k.a. Bruno. It's definitely worth a watch.
Borat, the guy Borat.
Yes, Borat.
The Ali G, the guy that played that.
Sunday night, as usual, me and Coach Smooks and Endor Hines will be live for the Bama Standard postgame show, 8 p.m. Central. And tune in to the Bama Standard next Tuesday night on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. Special episode. Bobby Humphrey will be in the building. Don't want to miss that.
We got some guests coming for y'all, man.
We got some guests too.
We just letting them warm up the seat, then we going.
Oh yeah. Well, we're about to unleash, guys. So if y'all want to see some legends,
and this chart,
this is where to be. Shannon
Invite a friend. Hit that like button, hit that donate button, hit that whatever button, everything, all that on there. Invite somebody with you next week.
That's it. That's it. Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody who's going to watch the replay. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers on this channel. Help us to break that milestone.
And we can't count on Tennessee to help us out. They lost tonight, so
anytime Tennessee loses, that's a big
another reason to hate Tennessee, y'all.
I won't have to hear Rocket Top playing tonight. Good.
No, but as far as the cast of the final whistle, that'll do it. We're out. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.